Alright, YouTube, welcome back to the channel on DGA Live. I'm sitting here with Miss Chris.
Hey.
And I am your host, Dominick, man. So we are going to talk about a subject that I've been dying to talk about. As a huge music lover, a musician for over 25 years, we're going to be talking about basically music in general. Vinyl records versus CDs versus today's digital format. So it is Friday night here in Tempe, Arizona. Being Friday, you know what it is.
I got my water.
We're going to crack open my first beer of the night. Let's get that going. Oh my God, it's like music right there. That's music.
That'll be me a little bit later. Not yet. Still a little early.
Yeah. I just want to bring the attention. It's August, what, 23rd?
Yeah, something like that.
And Oktoberfest is already out.
Best beer. So good.
It blew me away that it comes out earlier and earlier every year. I'm like, usually it was like mid-September.
Yeah.
Boom. So I was like, hell yeah, a little Oktoberfest to start the night. And before I hear the shit in the comments, yes, I am wearing a Britney Spears t-shirt. It's fucking Britney, bitch. She's toxic. You know that.
This is the woman that he would leave me for.
I love her. Love her. So let's jump right into it. We're going to talk about vinyl first. Okay, because this is what I grew up with. And I'm going to apologize now if this runs a tad bit long. We try to keep our videos under 25 minutes for podcast reasons. But this may go over that just because we got so much to say on this topic. I grew up with vinyl records. My dad had them in the 70s and all that stuff. So growing up in the 80s, of course, I had a lot of that hand-me-down stuff. And I started collecting my own. I remember my first record, two of them. The two first records I remember, Michael Jackson's Thriller, a fucking must-have.
Yep.
And the Chipmunks album. Do you remember that? With
Yes,
the
I do.
Christmas time? That bullshit?
Yep, I
had
remember.
those. Those were my first two. And I remember I destroyed them, too, because I had this little Fisher-Price record player. And me and my brother, we would play records out in the garage. Sometimes we'd bring them outside. And I left it out in the garage. And didn't know that fucking records warp.
Yeah.
And they look like Pringle chips when you're done. And yeah, destroyed those two records, which is sad. But so I've always had a passion for vinyl records, and I even worked in a record store. I worked for Tower Records in the '90s, and it's actually funny. I'm going to mention that because during my time of employment with them, they made an announcement that as of this date, we're no longer going to be carrying VHS and cassettes. Because DVD was taken over and CD was taken over. So I remember that, man. I bought a shit ton of VHS and a shit ton of tapes because that's what I rocked in my car, was cassettes. So do you remember what your first record was?
Record? Wait. So we joke because, yes, I was born in the 80s, but he makes fun of me saying that I grew up in the 90s.
She did. She
honestly,
10 years.
We're the same age. So I grew up in the 80s, but I never had a record. So I remember growing up, my mom always had, do you remember those big record stands that had like the record player on the top? It had the two tape decks. And
Yeah.
I know, I thought you had one, I'm pretty sure. And the two big speakers. My mom had one of those. My mom had a collection of records. However, I started in the DVD or the CD era.
The CD era.
So my very first CD.
Let me guess. Whitney Houston.
Oh, I mean, okay, so it's either Whitney Houston.
Yeah, I knew it.
Huge Whitney Houston fan. It's either Whitney Houston or the Dangerous Minds soundtrack.
Dangerous Minds. Actually, that was a pretty dope soundtrack.
It was. So I used to rock that in my mom's Ford pickup truck when I was finally learning how to drive, cruising up and down Main Street all night long.
Rocking
the Dangerous Minds soundtrack. But yeah, I never really... I knew what a record was. I knew what a record player was. I knew how to use it. I actually never really, got into that.
You got into the whole vinyl thing. After vinyl kind of fizzled out for me, I mean, I've always collected it, but it was never a prominent source until recently. It's made a huge comeback. But I was big in the tape era. I had probably 300 cassettes, easy. And I'm not talking about like mixtapes. I'm talking about
Real-
like actual
you
studio
went out and
release
bought- yeah.
with the J cards in it.
My brother had a lot of cassettes, so I did have a lot of the cassette era too, like growing
Right.
up on that. But so that was all my brother, who is 7 years older than me.
Yeah.
So yes, I listened to a lot of that, but really,
And that's one
That was
format,
his-
even though that tapes are making a comeback. And I don't know why.
which is crazy to me.
Yeah, like I'm gonna explain to you guys later in this video
Most
like
cars-
why vinyl and CDs
Oh right.
are
right.
still being made. But cassette was never a audiophile format. Believe it or not, 8-track sounded better than cassette.
I know nothing about
The
8-track.
thing with cassette was it was easier and cheaper to mass produce, and the form factor was smaller, and you could fit 120 minutes on there.
Sure.
So it was a ton of space on it. So it's a small form factor. You could throw them in your car, take them anywhere,
Yeah.
put them in your purse, your book bag. I think that's what really set it off. But as far as bringing it back for nostalgia reasons, I want nothing to do with it. I still buy records to this day.
But most cars don't even come with a CD player anymore. Why would you
Right.
have?
And we're
a
gonna
tape?
get on. We're gonna get on the digital era too, because there's a little bit of sadness with that. I'm gonna tell you in a little bit. But going back to vinyl, here's my thing with vinyl. And we're not gonna talk about sound quality yet. My thing with vinyl is it's an experience.
Yep. Yes.
From buying it to playing it, okay? So like with the digital stuff, like for example, hey, the new Tool album's coming out at the end of the month, right? Most people are gonna get an alert on their phone at fucking midnight, right? Oh, hey, it's released. Boop, they download it
Yep.
and they're done, right? There's no experience there. And you're probably gonna play that in a Bluetooth format. So throwing it to the car radio, or going to a portable Bluetooth speaker, right?
Right.
Maybe a sound bar on a TV. But with vinyl, here's the thing with vinyl, it's an experience. So you go to your favorite record store, right? Out here we go to Zia, we go to Asylum Records out in Chandler. When you walk in this place, there's a vibe, right? There's a vibe right off the thing. And you got thousands of records as far as you could see. And it's you just flipping through records and records and records. Now, when I go by myself, okay, big key word here, by myself, I will spend an hour and a half, 2 hours flipping through records. She can't stand it. So she'll give me 30 minutes, and I'll be like, hey, let me go check out the S's and the T's, and just let me do this real quick. So after you start flipping through the vinyl, the first thing you're slapped with is 12 by 12 artwork.
Sure.
Okay? So just to give you an example, I just pulled this right here. All right, this Misfits record. This first thing look how big the artwork is. Okay? So you're slapped with this cover. You're slapped with the back, right? Immediately this grabs your attention, right? There's a smell to this. I fucking love that smell, right? That smell of like freshly printed whatever, you know what I mean? And then the record smells itself too,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So after you have this in your hand, not only do you have a physical product in your hand, now you get home and there's another experience, okay? That experience is opening it up. And you'll be, one reason I grabbed this record is because of this. You get more artwork.
Right.
Okay.
That's really cool. I like that.
So we got this, we got more artwork, right? You won't get this digitally. Maybe you'll get a download or something. But then you get these limited edition vinyls that are printed like this, right? This is amazing. This is stuff you didn't have in the 70s, okay? So these limited edition vinyls. So now you got this. Now you want to play it. Playing it's an experience. You walk over to the turntable, you pop it down, you drop the needle. One thing records do is they kind of force you to play the whole album.
Right, because you can't skip song on
Right.
like this.
I mean, you
fast forward
can.
it.
You could take it and strategically place that fucking needle on the track you want to. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that. You put it on, you hit play. Vinyls are typically 22 minutes a side. Okay? So you got that 22 minutes of side A. You stop it, you flip it, and you listen to side B. It forces you to listen to the full album. People don't do this no more.
All right.
Everything's a shuffle. Right? If you listen to an album all the way through, sometimes it tells a story. Sometimes the song sets up the next song, right? Perfect example is like when I listen to Led Zeppelin albums, Livin' Lovin' and Heartbreaker. you have to listen to those songs back to back. They go right into each other. Right. I love that with listening to albums all the way through.
It's funny that you say that because even like nowadays, I'm a radio listener. And so one of my favorite Aerosmith songs will come on. Well, back in the day, Aerosmith was my thing. I knew the record or the albums, from beginning to end. So now I listen to a song that comes on the radio and it ends and I automatically in my head start singing that next song because I know which song comes on next on the album.
Right. And I know exactly what you're saying because Alice in Chains, the Facelift album, We Die Young, when that song ends, I wait for those 2 snare pops to go into Man in the Box.
Right.
And when they don't do that on the radio,
it's like
I am fucking livid. Livid. You play those songs back to back, right? So, yeah, that's the thing with vinyl. Now, you can do that with CDs, yeah. But CDs have the luxury of just bam, bam, bam to whatever track you want. And as far as like digital music goes, most people are building playlists.
Yes.
And some people's playlists make no fucking sense to me. It's all over the place. It goes from metal to country to fucking Katy Perry.
That would be me.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I pick and choose what songs I really like. And I don't really have a genre that I don't like. I mean, I do, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, I have a lot of different variety of music that I do like. So yeah, mine would go from maybe some country to some Taylor Swift to Whitney Houston.
Yeah, me, I get in the mood. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I want to listen to classic rock. And then if I am streaming and using like Pandora to like a Bluetooth speaker, I have that playlist set up to be like Hendrix, Zeppelin, and just that type of music where it's not going to 180 on me. And so I'm not against digital music. I do like it for that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we got people over at the house, you're trying to entertain. I'm not going to be sitting there flipping records all night. You know what I mean? And I've done it. I've done it. Hey, babe, go flip the record. Fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's when the Pandora and all your MP3s come in handy. I'll set up the JBL Charge. I'll get a 14-hour fucking playlist and just let it play in the background. Okay? So I get that. But there are nights, and you know what I'm talking about because I've done this to you. I'll be like, I really want to listen to Bloody Kisses tonight. Right? And I'll go grab that album, pop it on, grab a beer, and nothing going on. No TV. Half the lights are off in the house.
We have some red lights that we turn on.
Yeah, we just a little bit of mood lighting. And I just want to listen to the fucking album from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? And really enjoy it. Now, let's talk about sound quality for a second. Here's the big debacle. I hear people, I've got friends that are like, dude, fucking records are hands down better than CDs. And then I got people that say the exact opposite. Right. So I've actually done a lot of research on this to find out what the main difference is. And I've talked to audiophiles. I've talked to my father, who's been in the audio video business 30 years. I was in the audio video. My brother's been in it. My sister's been in it. They've all worked for Best Buy and whatnot. But here's the big difference between vinyl and CD. I'm not going to get into digital yet. Vinyl is purely analog, and it's uncompressed audio.
Right, you get that popping.
Right, yeah. If you have some dust, it can't pick that up.
But that makes it unique.
It adds it unique. But here's the thing, though, is because it's uncompressed audio, and it's purely analog. There's no digital whatsoever. I'm not talking digital to analog conversion. I'm talking pure analog. You have high dynamic range. And what that is, like you hear a lot of this HDR, right? HDR on a TV is something totally different. HDR in music, best way to explain HDR is when the artist wants it quiet, it gets quiet. And the blues does this exceptionally well. They'll bring it down, bring the guitar down. And the drummer will switch to a fan brush.
Right.
And he's really soft. And then as that guitar player turns up that volume knob and that drummer smacks that snare, it peaks.
Right.
And you get these dips and valleys, and it sounds live, right? Because the audio is constantly changing. Now, CD does this, not as well.
Right.
Because of the compression. right? So there are a lot of, I have actually multiple formats of music. I can't tell you how many fucking copies of Appetite for Destruction I have.
Right.
I probably got 7 copies. Vinyl, CD, remastered CD, audio cassette, like everything. So there are certain albums that I own multiple formats on where I prefer the vinyl because of that. But there is something that vinyl does in a bad way. It can colorize music by making it sound warmer than it naturally is.
Okay.
This works in its favor, and this also fucks it with certain albums. One album, right off the top of my head, that I'm thinking of, where I prefer the CD over the vinyl, is Nirvana's Unplugged. I love that album, right? 1994, I think it was recorded in New York. Listened to the CD so much that I know every little hiccup in that fucking song. Went out and got it on vinyl, and the vinyl was so warm sounding, it actually made Kurt's vocals a little too rich. Where on the CD, it was brighter and crisper. So I prefer the CD. But then there's a lot of albums where I prefer the vinyl version because Appetite for Destruction, perfect one. Something with the drum tracks on Appetite that just sound like they were pulled from the studio and thrown onto the fucking record. No compression, no mastering, and all this other bullshit. It just sounds raw, natural, poppy. It's phenomenal. And then there's albums that I can't tell the fucking difference. And one of those is Bloody Kisses. My sister gave me a copy of Typo Negative's Bloody Kisses on vinyl, and I was rocking that, and then I went to the CD and all this other stuff, and I couldn't tell a difference in audio quality. So it's just a format thing. Which one do you prefer? Now CDs, what they excel in is they will never distort on you. Okay, so it's a compressed audio. The only way you're going to get a CD to produce distortion is if the amplifier is up too high.
Right.
Causing the amplifier to clip. Okay? Because vinyl peaks. You ever see those old stereos that had the VU meters on it?
Yeah.
And you see them peaking like that? So if you have an album that's on the brink of peaking and you got the amplifier on the brink of clipping, it's going to go into that red section and cause your speakers to have audible distortion. Okay? So you got to back it down a little bit. Find that sweet spot and get that dynamic range where it doesn't blow it. Right?
Right.
So that's where CDs are actually cleaner sounding. There's no background noise. You don't get the little pop from a dirty needle or from a dirty disc. And you get the portability factor.
I was going to mention that, the convenience, because you can't take a record, put it in your car.
Yeah, records you're going to play at home and that's it.
Although I know most cars now don't have CD players, I made sure that was kind of a necessity for me when I bought my Mustang that I have. His Jeep doesn't have one.
Nope. Brand new Jeep, no physical drive. It's all touchscreen Bluetooth, which is, I think it's a shame. I would love to have a CD player in my car.
It was kind of a necessity
because the audio
for me.
is very good. Because I've even shown you that in your car. Listen to satellite radio for nothing but a day, right? And let your ears kind of fatigue to that, right? Then switch to the fucking FM radio, and you'll be like, wow.
It's
fucking radio sounds pretty good.
Better.
Then switch to a CD, and you're like, God damn! It's just night and day.
Right.
Especially like you bought the Bruno Mars
Love
record.
that way that CD sounds in my car.
I've only heard Bruno Mars on the radio. That's it. She got the CD. We popped it in her car. It sounded phenomenal.
Oh, amazing!
I was like,
that
oh
one,
fuck.
The JT, the new JT one sounded awesome. Just the CDs. I love the radio. I listen to the radio all the time. It's like my morning thing. I go to the radio, have music on my way to work.
You get your talk shows and
but
podcasts.
I also like to travel. I drive a lot. Like my sister's in Albuquerque, my brother's in California. So I travel and I take CDs with me. I pop them in and blaring the whole way on the road because it's just something, it makes the drive go by faster. I like it better than the radio. Sometimes the radio cuts out. You have your CDs there to kind of keep you company.
Now, you can do this with digital, all right? And digital's taking over. A couple manufacturers actually came out and said, and I forgot which ones they were, but they actually came out and said that they weren't going to do physical copies anymore.
Right.
Because of cost. Here's the thing with cost, right? It cost $1 to make a CD I'm talking full printed CD with the J card, everything. The reason why I know this is because I've been in the studio 5 times. And the last batch of CDs, when we did 1,000 CDs, full color jackets, full color CD, mastered, everything, 1,000 CDs cost us $1,000. Right. It's $1, right? And you turn around and sell them for $10. Vinyl, huge cost, right? You got more materials. You have to have that fucking, I don't know what they call it, that lithograph or whatever that cuts the vinyl setup for your music. Mm-hmm. The whole setup cost and everything. When I looked at having my songs put on the vinyl, I think one of the packages they had was 3,000 for like 300. And it was just out of my reach. I'm like, yeah, I guess we're not doing it on vinyl, even though it would have been great. My friend's band, though, the Limit Club, they released their Kid Bitchin' on vinyl, full color, an actual pink album, a record itself. But they did it. So local bands are finally starting to do it. Right. But it is a cost factor. And then if nobody buys it, well, then, they lose money because they have physical stuff that they can't sell. Right. So just making an album and then throwing it onto a digital platform like iTunes or something like that, there's no physical, physical
cost of making
product to have backstock on that's not selling. If it doesn't sell, it just sits in cyberspace. So
they make more money.
And they make a lot more money off
because they're not having to put the money on creating the product itself. Okay.
Here's another thing though, is this generation now is not buying physical copies.
Well, because this generation now has the ear pods that they walk around with, so they don't have. They put it all on their mobile devices so they can listen to it and not carry the stuff with them.
And I get that, and it's great. Like I do it too. I got a couple thousand songs on my phone, and it's nice just to bam throw it to the radio, Bluetooth, or rock some headphones and call it a day, and you got everything at your fingertips. I get that aspect of it, but I still go out and buy physical copies.
No, I do too.
Because here's another record, I grabbed Slash because look at that color. When this is sitting on the shelf, this grabs your attention, and this is a double disc, I guess you would call it, double vinyl. Bam, look at that. You get all this artwork. Yeah. Right? And then I believe, there's the back of it with all your songs. And then you pull this out. Boom. We got lyrics. We got more artwork. And then we have another colored vinyl.
Really pretty. It's nice looking, yeah.
So this is great to have. And here's the thing. If you have your music in a cloud and you go to an area where there's no Wi-Fi, or something like that, now you're fucked.
Well, we experienced that driving to San Francisco.
Right. We lost signal.
I don't have anything on my phone, so I was using Amazon Music, I think, and there were times
Pandora.
where we'd lose connection, so we didn't have any music at all.
Yeah.
Because we had the Jeep, so no CD player.
Right, unless you download from the cloud to the actual device. Right. Now you got to eat up your memory and get an SD card and all that.
That's my
so
only beef about.
I'm not against digital music. But I'm gonna bring up my son, for example. He's 9. But when I was 9, I already had a record collection and tapes. I had music. My son has none. My daughter.
Does he even know what a tape is?
No, I doubt it.
I'm sure he
knows what records are because he's bought me records for Christmas and shit.
And I'm sure he knows what a CD is.
Right. Now my daughter, who is 17, right? High school, all that stuff. She's actually got a small record collection.
Yes, she does. She's really into that.
Right. She started building up a record collection, but her go-to format is digital. You know what I'm saying? Rather download, stream,
you
not
don't have to
own the music.
Yeah, you don't have to physically go out to the store and buy it.
Right, and I love the experience.
The convenience of your own home, putting it on your phone or whatever you want to carry it on. But
right. And the device you're listening to makes a big difference. So I notice a lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of people, like, where do you listen to music? I just asked people, hey, where do you listen? I listen to it on my JBL Charge. I listen to it on my Bose SoundLink, right? It's all portable. The speaker itself is portable. Mm-hmm. The music is portable. Where me, I got about $600 into my record player. into my turntable. Now, that's not a lot of money. I mean, I know audiophiles that $3,000 plus. Right. But yet, it's not cheap. I didn't go out and buy one of these Crosley, the ones that look like Victola, the little old fucking school ones. Those are garbage. Right. They're fucking garbage. They look cool because it looks like it's from 1920, but they sound like shit. They got the little built-in 5-watt speakers and shit. So I actually went out and bought some Klipsch shit, Audio-Technica, Yamaha products, everything to kind of build up my turntable because I want it to sound good.
We have a nice little setup. We really do.
Yeah. Is it portable? No. I have to listen to it right here. And I only can listen to records here, but when I do have the portable shit, I have backups.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I said, I have albums on multiple formats. So, all right, we're gonna try to cut it here just because we're hitting that mark. We don't want to make this too long for you guys, but I'm interested in hearing what you guys, just to hear what you guys out there are listening to.
What's your preference?
Are you guys for vinyl? Multiple formats like me. I mean, I got like multiple copies of records or albums on different formats.
Right.
Are you guys on the tape wave? Because that's something I'm not going to jump on board. I'm not buying tapes again.
No.
I'm not doing it.
Wait, I don't even have anything to play them on. Do we even have?
I got rid of it.
Yeah, no, we don't have anything.
Yeah, I got rid of my tape decks.
And I'm not going to go out there and buy a tape player to listen to tapes.
Yeah,
so.
even though they're dirt cheap, I'm not doing that. But
I'll stick with CD.
Yeah, leave me a comment in the comments below and let me know what you guys listen to. If you guys prefer vinyl, CD, or if you're digital, or if you're all three. And we will catch you guys on the next one. We're going to be doing a full-on review on the My Arcade Retro products, and hopefully have that up mañana. So until then, we'll catch you then. Peace.
See ya.